Hey gang, Craig Ripley here. Welcome again to Living Off the Slab. Now today we're going to continue our discussion on my trip planning for 2019, and we're going to once again touch on one of the features in the MyRoute app that I like. Now before I get going here, let me say that I don't make any money here off of the MyRoute app. I am recommending it because that is basically just what I use. It's the one that I have found that I think works the best, that gives me the best features. Now, one of the features that I really like is the ability to calculate your route and view your route using several different map styles, right? And the common ones include Google Maps, they include the TomTom maps, and also the Garmin Here maps. So you can get a good idea of what your route is going to look like on several different kind of devices by using this MyRoute app. So if you click up in the upper right hand corner of the map itself, you'll see that little maps icon, or it's kind of a little layers icon. Well, then you're going to get a box that pops up that's going to give you a list of all of the maps that you have to choose from. Now let me point out here that most of these maps are available to you only if you buy the gold package, right? Which I have done, and that runs around $30 US per year to get all of these features. So as you go through this list, you can see that you have options of choosing the Open Streets map series. You have the option of choosing a variety of maps, including the satellite view from Google Maps. You also have the option of choosing the TomTom map set, or a set of maps that come with the HERE or Here maps that Garmin uses to calculate their routes. Now, this list of maps that you have to use, this does not determine what calculation mode you are using. This is just going to show you which map that your route is going to appear on. To set the calculation mode, you're going to go into that upper blue menu, and the fourth button over from the left, that is going to give you a drop down of the various calculation modes that you have available to you. And they include either calculating via the Open Streets maps, calculating via the Google Maps, the TomTom maps, or the Garmin maps. Why give you different calculation modes? Well, because each device out there, whether it be a TomTom, a Garmin, your cell phone, or Google Maps, they all have their own individual routing algorithms, right? And they're going to vary slightly between them. So for me, I usually start off creating my routes using the Google Maps. And I do that because I think they give me the most information, right? They have, hotels and gas stops and attractions, and all of these great features are listed right there on the maps as you zoom in on them, right? So it really makes it nice and easy to find a campground or find a hotel for the night using the Google Maps. Now, these calculation differences do show up quite often. For example, if I just go in here and I use the Google calculation methodology, I create my GPX file and then I load it onto my Garmin device, I'm going to end up running into, some discrepancies and from what I'm expecting to happen, right? And again, that is just because they have a different calculation algorithm. So if you go back to the blue menu and select Toolkit, and then go down in the menu to compare route with, then you're going to see the different options that you have available that's based upon your current calculation method, right? If you're calculating with the Google Maps methodology, right, which is what I have right here, then you're going to get OpenStreet, you're going to get TomTom, and you're going to get Garmin as your three options to compare with. So let's take a look at an example here. This is from day 17 of my 2019 trip. So first, we're going to take a look at the Google Maps, right, and how Google Maps would do the calculation for this particular section of the route. Now let me bring your attention into waypoint 6. Right, see, there is a little cutoff road that goes over from the main highway and then into town there, right? And so this is what Google thinks is the best route to take. However, if I switch to using the Garmin HERE maps and the Garmin calculation methodologies, and then I compare that with what Google was calculating, you can see here that there are some discrepancies. Now if I zoom in here to waypoint 6, we can see why there's a discrepancy. Google thinks that this road goes all the way through. However, Garmin doesn't see this as a through road, right? So it doesn't calculate you getting all the way over to waypoint 6. You have to go around and come back in order to get to it. Right, now I don't know what the truth is because I haven't been there yet, so I'm going to err on the side of caution and I am going to take the Garmin calculation. So here is the corrected solution, right? What I've done is I've taken those Garmin HERE maps using their calculation and again comparing it with the Google calculation, right? And then I have made the two routes match up. And I've done that by moving my waypoint 6 again up so that I'm going over and around, and then I'm coming down into town. And I've added some additional waypoints to get me through town because there was some discrepancies between how the two were calculating, again, the trip through town as well. So now I've got them both matching, and I can be pretty sure that now when I get out there, this is the route that I'm going to be taking on. Some of you are probably asking, well, why don't you just use the map that works best with your device, your GPS, and be done with it? And you can absolutely do that. I mean, using the HERE maps would make most sense if you have a Garmin device. However, again, I like the Google Maps because of all the extra information that it gives me. Again, it lets me find hotels more easily and gas stations and again, other attractions and so forth. Now you can add all of those kinds of waypoints and those destinations to your OpenStreet or other maps in here. There is that ability to do that from within the MyRoute app. However, it doesn't give you, again, the same kind of detail and information that you get on Google Maps, right? So again, for me, I just tend to use the Google Maps, again, to find those locations and so forth. And then to finalize my route, right, I'm going to match the two up, again, see how they calculate differently. And then, again, I may not want to take what Garmin says that I should. Maybe I will like the Google calculation better, or maybe I like something else completely different. Well, then I can take the two, again, and match them up, again, make them go where I want them to go. Right? Again, not just taking what they're offering. All right, gang, so that's pretty much it for this episode. Again, when I did this, I did break it out so that, I'm doing this individually from the, fine-tuning of the route. But again, when you're doing this, really, you can do it all in the same step, right? You don't have to break it out and go through all of the routes twice. Although sometimes I do that, depending upon, again, what I find, and if I haven't made my decision, I may want to go back in and look at it in more detail. But anyway, basically you just play around with it and have fun with it. So, all right, next time, we'll talk about more of this kind of stuff heading up to this big trip for 2019.